Okay, hello everyone. I'm Crucify, as you may know, and today I'm here to talk to you all about Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon 1v1, also known as SM1v1, also known as Gen 7 1v1, as in the PS format, and also be doing some brief discussion about 1v1 VRs in general, as that is a topic that has been interesting me lately, and there's been some, I wouldn't say like particularly heated discourse, but there's been some discourse about it especially in recent times, particularly around the S ranks, which I will get to. But I actually made an agenda for this video, and I did a lot of preparation, as you can see by the amount of tabs I have open. But so first, I'm gonna go through why I'm making this video, and then two, I'm gonna talk about VRs and 1v1, and then three, I'm gonna go through my own SM 1v1 VR, as you may be seeing in this Smogon post that this video is going to accompany. So first, why I make this video. So um, obviously, I played SM1v1 in the most recent 1v1 team tour, which was the unofficial team tour, Old Gens Premier League 2. I played 6 SM1v1 best of 7s. And these were actually my first SM games that I've played in a team tour. I've obviously been spectating SM1v1 for like 4 years at this point. So just it wasn't like I was completely fresh to it. But this was my first time really like seriously building and playing it. Okay, not too seriously if you think about some of the mods I used, but I was playing it. These are my first games, so I have I guess a fresh and unique perspective on the tier that I would like to share. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, we have to go into the history books to explain. So SM1v1 is obviously the current gen for a long time. A lot of 1v1 players started during SM and like got into 1v1 by playing SM ladder, for example. And then when SS came out and SM became an OGen, a lot of these players stuck with it. And you saw like a lot of the same players playing. Like once SM became an OGen, you saw a lot of the same players playing like every tour. So some of these people were TSC, for example, Lancer France, Landon, Kantari, David Nadal. Beaufort got a start in PL5 actually, which is what we're looking at. We saw Rumia, who's a Kumajo previously, Squirtle, LBDC, etc. And a lot of these people um, aren't really people who are outspoken. Not even outspoken. They don't really talk or share um, like their thoughts about the tier very often. For example, if you looked at the 1v1 OGens thread, I'm not gonna do that right now, but the amount of like SM1v1 discourse is like very small in comparison to other tiers, like even like Black White or ORS. There's a lot of this discourse about it. The exceptions are like the Shadow Claw and Kantari. Kantari literally posting his teams um, after beating his opponent. And then TSC had some posts where he dropped sets back in the day as well. Both did as well. Both was also part of it, and both are also it's obviously very open to discussing nowadays. But thinking about these times, like a lot of these people are just quiet dudes, doesn't really share things. Um, so then we go on to World Cup 5. This was in 2021. This is this year. We see a lot of the same names again. Lane and WDC, Illo Bandit, Gorilla got a start here. We saw the Team India, some 1v1ers start here as well. But again, we're seeing a lot of the same names. Like Lancer and TSC are also here. But we see new names trickle in every tour. So like Xander, for example, played SM for Central this year, and we had a Rai played for North Europe. And then the trend is going to continue once we go to PL6. PL6, obviously, we had TSC and Boko Demon Time. But we're seeing, again, like all of this, these are like all names that we've seen before. And this isn't a bad thing inherently, but you'll see like the point that I'm making soon. And you can already start to see the point that I'm making here. You have a lot of people who are like going 0x, playing a few games and then getting benched, or going like playing a couple games in it. And you see that in every tier. But I'm just going to continue on, and then I'm going to see my points. So then we're going to go to 2022 World Cup. So this is World Cup 6. SM1v1. Again, we're seeing a lot of the same names, but we do see some new names trickle in. For example, Bia and Dr. PhD BJ, Mishimono. But something to also note is the new players from the previous tour aren't necessarily continuing on Um, Bofer's like Bofer's an exception because Bofer found that he really enjoys it, right? But we're seeing like new players get into it, and then the next tour they aren't really playing it. But we're also like seeing a lot of the same names still in here, like it's obviously the Squirtle 5.0 year. We have Elo Bandit, TSC, XSC, etc. So then we're gonna go to PL7. Um, this I don't really know what happened. I don't think the SOT bans had this big of an impact, but like there was one person that played more than 6 games, and like the regular season is 7 weeks. So and Elo Bandit didn't even play one of the weeks of regular season. So like nobody played a full regular season in SM. What? And we see so many people who only played like one game, like 1 or 2 games. These people are going like 0-1, 0-2. There's such a high frequency. The most wins one player got in a tier was 4. What? What's going on? We obviously had Thwacky's SM go 7-0 this tour, so I guess they're just spreading the love. But we're seeing less of like those names that like dominated. So we obviously see Squirtle, Edgar, TSC, XSC, but he's banned. We see Elo Bandit still, but like we're seeing a lot of the new players come in, play a few games. Obviously, there's some exceptions down here, like Lumia, obviously not new, Landon, Baleblaze, and Frosty. But this is just kind of like the way the winds are blowing in the tier, where a lot of the old heads are just like not playing or not playing as much. And this is World Cup. I meant to have like World Cup 7 pulled up when I clicked over here. We're seeing like less and less of the old heads come back and play a high quantity of games, and we're seeing a lot of new players come in. So, and I'm actually one of them. Like, I'm obviously around 1v1, but SM has historically been the gen that I'm the weakest at. My SM slots historically done very poor, the exception being PL6 Barrows, or PL7 Barrows, actually. Actually, PL6 too, but I had both for that year. But, yeah. So, I'm coming from a fresh and unique perspective on it, and um, I think that what I say can be helpful for newer players that are inevitably going to be coming in and playing SM1v1, even though there's only one slot in PL. There's going to be new players. There's going to be players who only play 1 or 2 games, and there's also and some of those players are going to be like brand new, but some of those players are also going to be like me, who like are 1v1 players, but they aren't an SM 1v1 main, and they're gonna play. And then you, the listener, who are listening to this and care what I say, we're gonna be able to have like my perspective on it. So yeah, those are basically my motivations for making this video. I meant to make this like shortly after OGPL ended, but I was busy, so I'm making it now. So yeah, that's about all I wanted to say on point 1. So I'm gonna cross it out. Eat in yellow, I guess. And then 2, VRs and 1v1 plus my perspective. Basically, like, there's only a few points that I want to make about this. VRs are inherently subjective. That's why there's always like that's why there's a VR council and not like one person that decides them, right? Um, like big point, VRs like they should scale down from the S rank, and then launch it like progressively less good. Whatever definition of good you want to use. Some people like Bird, for example, always like they call the VR a usability ranking. They rank commands based on how good they feel to use, how splashable they are. Um, Others might view the VR as like an objective way to see the tier, I guess. So based on like usage or win rate, stuff like that. Um, but bottom line is, it should really scale down from S and then go down. Because I don't think ranks exist in a vacuum. Like, that's just not how it works. I don't know how you would argue that. And there's a couple reasons why I think that's like the conception. And one of them is like in SS and SV, when a mon like goes to S rank, the community generally looks at that and says like, "Yo, we gotta suspect this mon and ban it. This mon is like alone in S rank, better than all the other mons. We can't have that." I think there's like kind of that mentality. That's why we're not looking at the S rank right now in SS1v1, when really we could just like bump all these up a sub rank or just get rid of S minus rank. Like S minus rank isn't something that's essential, I would say. I mean, maybe it is, who knows. But this really shouldn't happen. Like, God, what? Are you serious? I believe in Bishop to fix it, but the full SS update hasn't came out yet. So yeah, there's just a couple of things I wanted to say. How I personally view the VR. I'll talk about more like as I'm doing it, but S rank best mons in the tier, S minus rank like pretty much OP mons, but not quite as good as the S rank mons. A plus rank are very good mons, but just not as good as S minus rank, but better than other mons below them. And I'm basically just gonna keep like saying that. Um, like they're better than the mons below them, but they're not as good as the mons above them. But I do think there's also like finer characterizations that you can make about the tiers, and I think this is like partly an argumentation as to um, why ranks could exist in a vacuum, but nobody thinks like this. So, for example, what I'm talking about is like A rank mons. I view like the A rank as they're good mons, but they're not very good because they rely on something like set ambiguity, or they're like more flawed in some way. For example, like Victini can beat like basically the whole tier, but it really struggles to be like a lot of the metagame in one set. Um, like you can run Scarf and like lose the Metagross for fun if you don't have Blue Flare. Um, Same is true for Zera Aura. Zera Aura is a pretty damn linear mon. Um, Obviously, it has like Ban and Mix. It has like that mix up, but a lot of its matchups are very linear, and that kind of holds it back. And then as you like go down the VR, the weaknesses of mons get more pronounced. That's a good way to put it. Actually, mons like have more weaknesses. They may rely on set ambiguity in order to be really effective, or they need to have like specific teams in which they fit on to be good. Um, and those effects just only increase as we go further and further down the VR. Mons just get more niche. Um, so yeah, those are just some abstract points about the VR I wanted to make. So I'm going to cross that out then, and we're going to move on to my SM1 VR. So the screenshot's my usage, which I'll get to in a minute. But I'm scaling mine from S, obviously, down to C. And we have balls rank 1 and balls rank 2. So instead of a D rank, or C minus A and B rank, I'm just like having a balls rank 1 and balls rank 2. So I think once we get past C, like, I mean, they're all like bad mons. But some bad mons are more usable than other bad mons. And that's basically what I'm differentiating with balls rank 1 and balls rank 2. You can also call them penis rank, which I've called in the past. But as I have posted this on Smogon, I will not be doing that. Balls is more ambiguous in its meaning. So there's 155 Pokemon on this VR. I tried to put everything I thought was remotely usable. I left out some things on purpose. I remember when I was making it, I was like, nah, I'm not ranking this mon. And I just skipped past it. But I put a lot of mons here. For example, you might see an Emolga here. Just for example. But I also pulled out some of the like top tiers, so we talk about them first. So I don't have to wait till the end of the video to talk about fucking Zygarde. And like I'm spending time talking about Octillery and Scizor Mega instead of Zygarde. Like what? So yeah, let's see. It's been 13 minutes. Alright, we're on good time. Get a drink of water and let's get into this. Stay hydrated, folks. So first we're gonna look at my usage actually. So Zard ended up being number 1, but there was also weeks that I didn't use Zard at all. Like versus Squirtle and OGPL, I didn't bring Charizard once, and then and like once it got to playoffs, I was bringing Charizard like 3 or 4 times a series. So my Charizard usage like ballooned. Used a lot of mons. Pretty typical of SM1v1 players to have a usage that looks like this. To use like the top tiers, like maybe like 10 to maybe 20% at the high end. Definitely not above 30, but you see a lot of like one-use mons because there's just so much usable shit in this tier. Like basically every mon can be usable really if you try hard enough, which we'll see when we talk about some of the mons. But yeah, anything else notable in my usage? Not pretty standard. I didn't use Mawile very much at all. How many Mawiles did I have? I swear to God I used it. I'm just blind. I need to fucking find it. Did I not? Oh yeah, one Mawile. One Mawile was pretty sus. I was being more serious. I probably would have used Mawile more. But yeah, like 3 Puke. How did Puke go all the way up here? God, Puke. Nice. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into this. Um, there's also usage from OGPL2. Charizard number 1, obviously 20% usage, almost twice more than Metagross, but obviously Charizard is 2 Pokemon in 1. So really it was, if you like chop that in half, it's like, just another top 5 mon. It was probably Zardex, I would guess it was used like 40 times if I had to guess. Maybe, yeah, probably like 40-45 times out of those 66. Um, I don't know if there's a way to look at it besides like asking people. But yeah, Charizard also had a standout win rate. So did Dragonite, 56% win rate across 32 uses is good. Obviously, like, don't read too far into these. These are just fun to look at. For example, like Zygarde didn't have a very good win rate, and like Gardevoir didn't either. These are obviously very good mons. The mons had really good win rates. We had Superior 77, like Metachamp 75. Swampert and Crustle had good showings. Necrozma had a random 100% win rate with 4 uses. Yeah. And we see some other like really suspicious things like where the fuck is Togedemaru used 4 times. Togedemaru used more than like what did it get used more than? I guess once we start getting down here, these are all like bad mods. Use more than P2 1 usage, for example. I don't know, whatever. This is just a sample size of 1 tour after all, but yeah, it's just like fun to see. If you want to look at it more in depth, you can just ask me, and I can send you the replays and other stuff. So yeah, let's do this. Okay, so S rank. This is also gonna be a struggle, by the way. There's so many mons that I'm gonna have to like get these mons up to S rank in 2 steps. But best mon tier is Charizard X. Not always the best mon to bring, but it's the best mon overall. It's really good at beating like annoying guys like Dragonite, Zero Aura. Sometimes you just like have to put it on your team. It's a fire type, so it beats the steel types that are just like demons that we're gonna talk about, which also makes it very valuable. In terms of sets for Charizard, I feel like people are running like everything on Charizard, but I was running some fast sub. I was running like Spadef sub as well. I wasn't running DD a lot. I was running a lot of Flame Charge, Stabs, Sub, Wisp, and then Sub or Wisp. See, my Charizards are not dancing very often. Yeah. Not much to say about it. Charizard Y. Charizard Y is S-1. It's not as good as Zardex, but sometimes Zard Y is better to bring than Zardex. It's not as good of a mon as Zardex, but I mean, Zard Y is just like Pokemon Thanos sometimes. It just flinches. Like, Air Slash flinch is broken. There's the obvious ambiguity between whether the Zard is X or Y on build teams. Like, I don't know, Mon's just a demon. Like, Air Slash flinch is so broken. Oh my god. Has 4 moveset syndrome because, like, if you drop Flame Charge and you lose to Metagross, it's super sad. Or you lose to Superior, it's just really sad. But this is OP as fuck. I would put it in S rank, but nah, it's just not as good as what Zardex and D-Knight are. D-Knight is like... D-Knight's a mon where it's really, really easy to put on your teams. It has so many sets because of Z moves, and its move pool, and its stats, and multi-scale. That's really easy to fit like a random Z move or Scarf or Band. Choice specs I used a few times. These all fit on a lot of teams. Firium was a standout set that I used a lot because again the steel types are just like demons in this tier, which we're almost to the steel types, so I can talk about them. Yeah, Firium I thought was pretty cool. Same with specs. There's some other sets, but I'm not going to reveal them because, like, in case some of my teammates want to use them in the future. But yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't ban them on. I don't think banning them on also, it doesn't really do anything for the meta though. Because D-Knight isn't really like holding anything back in particular. If anything, it's like making other mons better, such as the steel types that were again almost to. Yeah, no, not that much to say. D-Knight is very forcing though. By forcing I mean like centralizing, I guess. You have to be pretty specific about your counterplay to D-Knight. Weak checks get beaten pretty easily. And even stronger checks can get beaten in some worlds. For example, like Gyarados is an obvious example, which can lose to DD Z Dragon Dance. A matchup that's been discussed quite a bit. Got discussed more like a couple of years ago, not so much nowadays, but that's an interaction that exists. Anyway, then we have Zygarde. This one is also Thanos, but I think it's Thanos more in the sense of like in the builder and the teams that it enables. Because what Zygarde does is it beats fire types and it beats steel types in one mon, and it's not a water type. Um, and that's like really really rare. Like, yeah, okay, you may say like, but William, like fire and steel types lose to ground types, but like no, they really don't. Um, Zygarde's like the best way to do it, and all of Zygarde's sets are like pretty fucking broken. Like Fast Dragonium Z, which is like quote unquote anti DNI but loses to special. That set's broken because it also just beats Gyarados. A lot of people like use Gyarados to beat Zygarde, and that just doesn't work. And so they should lose to Fast DD, Fast Coil with Dragonium. That's what I mean. And we also have like the classic Fizzdef Groundium set that is just like impossible to kill physically. And then there's the Spadef set, which is key for a reason that I'm going to speak about right now. But something that I noticed in this tour was there's a certain benchmark. I just like leaked my builder for no reason. I probably won't even edit it out because I don't care. There's a certain benchmark of special attack. And you find it. It's 135. Where if you equip them on with choice specs and HP ice, it's always going to kill 252 HP Zygarde. And if you have a modest nature with choice specs, it goes down to, I believe, 120. 120 might be a roll, but there's not too many mons that this is relevant for. The most relevant mons are like Keldeo or something. Magnezone with the HP ice is a standout because Magnezone's always modest. Heatran's another standout for more on Heatran in a bit. But yeah, that's why I was using mons like Thunderous Therian and Blacephalon as well, because they just like own Zygarde like that, unless they're Spadef, and I think that's where Spadef gets a lot of value. But that's also where Thunderous Therian gets a lot of value because Thunderous Therian still wins, unless it's like Dragonium Spadef with E-Speed or some shit like that. The Spadef sets that exist right now are running like Groundium Confide with Rest. So they can't beat Thundurus in one turn, so Thundurus still wins. And that's also true for Zapdos. Zapdos is also up there in the modest range, right here. Same with Thundurus as well. I don't know why you'd use Specs Thundurus over Specs Zapdos. I guess the speed might be good for something. Not important. But yeah. But I'm going to talk about an issue with the HP Ice Mons, and the issue with the HP Ice Mons is this. Which is Mobile, Mega plus Zygarde. Like, these teams, like, kind of run the tier right now. Like, this core is just, like, so good. Like, the special attackers that I talk about that own Zygarde, just, like, you don't beat Maw unless you're, like, Blacephalon and don't get Sucker Punch turn 1, or you're Heatran. And then Heatran, if it's, like, Fast Dragonium Zygarde, you don't outspeed it, so you just die. Assuming you have 1,000 arrows. Bit of a callback there. But yeah, Mawile is just like OP as fuck. It gets a random 3L somehow on this tier as well. People just forget about it. Including my own team. But yeah, I mean, like Mawile, it's just the S- McMon in the tier right now. It's so good. The most common set's the Playra Fire Fang Sucker Punch set with Taunt Last. Which works really well with Zygarde because it's like beating Serp, beating Genesect, beating Magearna, so the Zygarde isn't forced into Groundium, and then the Zygarde also doesn't like get owned by like random Scarf or Air Balloon on Mag. But yeah, Mawile is just super broken. I'd say not as broken as Metagross. I'm gonna order it like this. I'd say these are probably top 5 mons in the tier to 2 large Dragonite Zygarde Metagross. But yeah, Metagross is also just like Thanos. The Metagross 2-1's alive and well in this tier. Metagross sets, so like it being okay, like the Mega Speed change is so big for Metagross because like running like fast sub is so OP. And like with Iron Head 2, you have so many odds. Um, run Laser Focus, Magnet Rise, as it is on the Italian God Squad. Invalidates a lot of ground types. Like, say you want to load a Landorus Therian. Like, Landorus Therian can't be the only way that you beat, like, Metagross. Because, like, you're just gonna... Number one, you just get Ice Punched. There's that. But there's also, like... Okay, say you were, like, um... some fucking bulky ground fucker. Maybe those don't even exist. If they don't exist, then it's because of Metagross clicking Magna Rise. Okay, like Swampert. Like, Swampert just gets owned. You can't run Swampert as, like, a blanket check to ground types because, like, Metagross is just gonna Magna Rise on you or something like that. Um, but yeah, and Steel types are also very notable for, like, beating Dragonite unless it Fire Ems you or some other, like, something else happens, I don't know. Dragonite will find a way. Then we have Mag. Mag is like a perennial S minus rank mon in the tier, and I've been wrestling with whether to put a S minus or not, and I kind of think it's not really justifiable to put a S minus right now. I think the meta, yeah, I don't know. I didn't actually, okay, I did preparation for this video, but I didn't think about this part too much about the actual VR. Like, next thing from like an outside perspective was you run one set and you beat like 60% of the tier. And the set is like Iron Defense, CM, Pain Split with Varium Z Flare Cannon, which does like a trillion damage for no reason. Um, like I don't know, this mon is like really good though. Yeah, I'm gonna put S minus. Like, I don't know. I feel like Mobile is not like a sub rank above it. Talking about like mons being equal in relative strength. Um, Yeah. Speaking of like the main set, I didn't even use the main set. I used like Scarf this tour. I was experiencing with Heart Swap. I thought that was funny. Um, yeah, Balloon's also good, but I thought Scarf would be more. Scarf would be like a larger portion of the tier than Balloon would. Now that's all for the S ranks. I think these are like these stereotypes are just like broken as fuck. These stereotypes are like the reason that Zard's good as a mon to bring. Like, God, so broken. There's a couple other mons that I'm thinking about putting S minus, but I think I'll leave it as that. So A plus we have Gardevoir. Gardevoir is just like a Thanos Pokemon again. I feel like Gardevoir has a lot of different sets that it can run. Like, I think Trick Room's actually pretty good in this tier. Um, Gardevoir has the issue of being gunk shotted by Greninja a lot. And also kind of only runs like one set, honestly. Like, everyone runs like the speedy shit, and they're not as bulky as they would like. But Gardevoir isn't like the bulky psychic fairy in this tier though, because like you're not like a Garchomp answer because Garchomp just clicks Tectonic Rage and capones you. Unless like, you can bulk that. I haven't actually looked if you can bulk that, but I don't know. I guess PZ existing is like pretty good justification for running fast though. I'm just gonna talk about PZ now. PZ I think is like pretty damn near S rank. Like, this mon is like actually just Thanos as well. Um, it's held back by the steals. Like, the steals are annoying for it. Metagross notably just loses like the Ghostium conversion set unless you get like raw laser focused on or something like that. But like, Scarf is really good. The various Z conversion sets. Spidef is like broken. Spidef which lives Gardevoir Hyper Beam and Greninja Hydro Cannon. That's just like broken. Spawn is just like insanely bulky for no reason. You can also run Scarf and outspeed you. You can run Specs and like kablam you. Yeah. Like, I feel like it's putting S minus. Like, this mon is just too good. Also with like my philosophy of like 1v1, this mon is too good. I wonder if I should just cut out S minus rank. Probably not. Like, I think I'm pretty happy with how this looks, honestly. Like, PZ is so good. Oh my god. PZ is better than Mag. Like, Jesus. Mon's OP. Then we have Gara. Gara, I'm a obvious Gara hater in this gen. It's like opposite of Oras. And Oras, I'm a Gara enjoyer, but in this gen, I'm just not a big fan of Gara. I just don't think it does that much in this gen. Like, you beat Dragonite and Charizard. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. I guess if you don't fight fast Dragonium Zygarde, you also beat that, but I'm just not a fan. But it's a good water type. It's the first water type we put on this tier list. The second one we're gonna put on is Greninja, obviously. Brenna's like another Thanos type Pokemon in this tier where it can theoretically beat like every Pokemon. If it knows the set it's gonna face. With like just like but also at the same time, Greninja wins like all of its games clicking Gunk Shot versus Fairy types. So I don't know. um, maybe I do just want to like delete the S minus rank and move everything down because like I feel like some of these mons just pale in comparison to the mons above them. But also the mons just get worse and worse as we go down. I'll just leave it as it is and revisit. Uh, Manaphy, I'm also putting A plus. This mon is just like OP. This one's probably better than Gara, realistically. Not JK. Um, but this mon, like, if you don't know the sets comp set, well, I guess not a sets comp set, the set in the calc, that's like not very bulky Walkerium. This mon does like some disgusting things, and like Stall being used in this tier now is also pretty scary. Um, although it's less good in this tier, but it's scary. It's the mon's spooky. Um, I think spooky enough to put up here with these guys. I think Custap's actually good in this tier, by the way. Maybe I shouldn't have revealed that, but like Custap mana is pretty scary. Um, a lot of Metagross don't run Thunder Punch in this tier as well. Um, we see a lot of Steel Move, Ice Punch, EQ. So I don't know. I think the meta will also. I think the meta is also only going to get better for Manaphy. So I'll look out for this mon as time passes. I think I'm putting Victini in A, and I think I'm calling this I think I'm just gonna do this for A plus mons. The mag feels like out of. I don't know. I think I like this better. Yeah, I like this better. Yeah, Victini. He's good. Victini's a fire type. Um, but like I was talking about when I addressed it in the VR discussion, just I don't know. Like its ambiguity is very nice, but yeah, yeah. Um, Icium's the set I use the most. Icium's nice. I started using some sets like Firium and this no GPL, Firium and Band, and those are fun as well. But I think it's just a limited Pokemon. Like Charizard and D-Knight just hold it back here. Although I mean Icium beats Dragonite and Z Store Power, not Z Store Power, Z Celebrate beats some Charizard, so I don't know. But really just not a mon that I favored. I didn't really like the team structures that Victini fit on this tour, but I mean those team structures can get good matchups, particularly with Icium being good versus these Zygarde mobile teams, but I don't know. I think versus any Charizard team, you're just like at a disadvantage. And like there's like Garrett too. Like you can run weakness policy in this tier, but weakness policy like kind of sucks. Even in ORS, it's not very good. So I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Zero Aura. Honestly, I want to put Zero Aura lower. But this one is like Thanos sometimes. If you don't have like a Zygarde on your team, this one is pretty spooky. I'm particularly talking about Choice Band and Mixed Electrium. Mixed Electrium being bulky Mixed Electrium. Again, not the set in the calc. The set beating Metagross is pretty big. Beating Magearna is also pretty big. If you don't believe me that it beats Magearna, open a damage calc and try to make a set that does. I think Choice Band has to click Iron Tail, so it's not as good. But yeah, whatever. I'll speed up a little bit. We talked about most of the high rank mons. We have a lot of mons to go through. We still have like 140, I guess. Primarina, I'm gonna put an A plus as well. I didn't pull up Tapu Fini as well. Here's Tapu Fini. I'm gonna pull up Tapu Fini as well. I think these mons should also be an A tier. Now these mons get gung shotted by Gren a lot, but these mons are such vital glue pieces to the tier that I think it is incorrect to put them much lower. You can maybe argue Primarina should drop down more, because Primarina is more limited in what it can do. Fini is just like kind of Thanos. Fini's an insane glue that holds teams together. At the same time, Fini sometimes doesn't get as good of matchups as you would like. That's a knock against it. It also gets Solar Beam by Charizard Y quite a bit, if you're running like Tapu EMZ, obviously. Yeah. Fairy types in this tier are weird, because the stereotypes are like Thanos. Like, fairy types are also like really good on 1v1, and also needed to beat stuff like Dragonite. So, yeah, I don't know. Meloetta also pull up. Meloetta is an Amon. Meloetta is actually one of the mons I brought 0 times. One of the few mons that I brought 0 times in OGPL of mons like above so, yeah, of mons above B plus. The only mons that I didn't use were, I think, Como, Meloetta. I used Slowbro? I don't think I used Slowbro either. I don't know. And Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele was the last one. But yeah, I'm not a fan. Speaking of Tapu Lele, let me pull Tapu Lele up as well, since that came up. I think Tapu Lele is the bulky Psychic Fairy. I just don't think it's the same tier as Gardevoir. Like, it's a good mon. Like, I got 3-0'd by it in this. Like, I got 3-0'd by it probably multiple times throughout the tour, but I don't think it's as good of a mon as Gardevoir. So we have the FizzDef Z Reflect set, which is very strong at beating Charizard X and related Pokemon. Skill Shop's viable, choice sets are viable, but it's pretty spread thin, similar to the Victini Pokemon. Yeah. Meloetta, honestly, like it's really strong mon, but I just didn't really, I just didn't end up using it. Feel like if I was a Meloetta user and I was biased towards it, could argue for it being A+. But I'm just gonna put it chilling in A right now. Again, Steel type D-Knight shit, just kind of bodying it. It's good versus like the rest of the mons though. Yeah. And then we have Venu. I think Venu I'm putting A-, but I wanted to pull it up anyway because like Sleep Venu is really strong here. Like I remember in OGPL I was just thinking like, Sleep Powder is allowed. Sleep Powder got banned on Venusaur, or Sleep Powder got banned in general after Venusaur started spamming it in ORAS. I wonder if it's the same in this tier. And I mean, I beat a Togekiss with Venusaur this tour. Um, so I think it needs some more exploration, but I think the set's very good. Sleep Powder sets are. And obviously, the better the Sleep Powder sets get, maybe the Charm sets get better. But yeah, not much more to say on that guy. And yeah, these are like the mons that I would consider like the top tiers of the tier. The A- is obviously gonna fill out more, but yeah, this ended up working out really nicely. We have two mons, then 5 mons in these 3, and then 2 mons here. That worked out very nicely. Not intentional at all. But yeah. So now we're going to these mons. So Abomasnow I think is C rank. I don't think Abomasnow is like terrible. Um, Actually, maybe it's Balls rank 1. I'll see how it develops, but like it's a pretty unique typing. Um, you can click Protect and stuff. I don't know if Protect actually beats Dragonite, but if it does, that'd be cool. Um, but I think it's funny. It beats Zygarde, obviously. Pretty good matchup versus the Waters of the tier. So yeah, it's very usable Pokemon, honestly. Um, but then obviously just like gets smoked by every fire type and steel type. So I don't know what else we're doing. Aegislash, Aegislash is like, I'm pretty sure Aegislash is also very high, right? Yeah, it's A minus. I think it is actually A minus, but like, um, actually I don't know that much else to say. Aegislash is a good Pokemon. Probably, I don't know where I rank it in relation to these mons, but I'm gonna stop caring about that. Once we're past A plus, like, you really shouldn't look at like the ordering within tiers. Do I agree with this for A? Yeah, I think I agree with this for A. Maybe something like this. I don't know. These are PMD sprites, by the way. I don't think I mentioned it. Yeah, these are PMD sprites from the PMD sprites database. In case you didn't know. Then we have Aerodactyl. Okay, Aerodactyl should be the same rank as Abomasnow. So I guess I'm putting these mons in the same tier. I'm gonna put them in Balls rank 1, and I'm gonna see how many C rank mons I get. Aggron is like the pinnacle fucking B rank mon. Do I think it's B plus or B? I think that Aggron has a very unique matchup pool. It obviously has a bad matchup versus Charizard because you have to hit a rock move versus potentially an air slash flinch, versus potentially getting wisped, versus potentially getting subbed on. So for those reasons, it's a little bad, but um, it's a pretty unique matchup. Or otherwise, like beating Mawile is very nice. Losing to Zygarde is annoying. Stuff like this. Beating Mag unless it's Fightinium. Fightinium's another set that I was experimenting with, but I decided not to use because it's pretty limited. Um, yeah. Also, Band Aggron is also very interesting because Band Aggron is one of the best D9 answers. You click Avalanche. Um, but that has even more of the issue of like you have to hit rock moves, which is pretty bad. I'm gonna put it in B plus for now. Ampharos, this is like this is a penis rank mod. This one sucks in this gen. Do I think it's do I think it's better or worse than the Bomb Snow? It's an interesting question. Thing is, T Wave is worse in this gen than it is in ORAS. Like as a like mechanics wise. So I don't know. I'm just gonna put them all on balls rank 1 for now. Arachno is my slime. It's like a C plus 1 or something. This one clicks Waterium Z with like a liquidation and its ability, which is like water bubble or something. Yeah, water bubble. And so like the Z move has a really high base power and like kabooms things. This is a very limited mon. Unfortunately, loses to the move substitute, loses to air slash flinch. But it does some really interesting things. Really good at shutting down some of the special attackers of the tier. Maybe it's, I feel like moving it up. Like this is a mod that I like, so I should probably move it up. Arcanine's like Arcanine's probably a boss rank mod. These mods all suck. Arcanine does some stuff with Scar. I'm gonna put this in balls rank too. Okay, realistically, Arcanine is just outclassed. But it does some funny stuff with Scarf, so I don't know. But like I don't know why I would use Arcanine over like Entei. I don't know. I really don't. It beats like physical Dragonite, Charizards, Steel types, some of the fairies. Yeah, Scarf's not bad. I'm gonna put it in C rank. I think it's probably better than these guys. I don't know. Archops is like a B. I'm like never gonna put this one above like B minus, but it's really good at coin flipping games. And a lot of people like lose to it randomly. Oh, I forgot about Ambipom. Holy moly! I was like looking at the rest of the A like monsters start with A, and there's no Ambipom. Damn. Okay, whatever. Ambipom is like also like around like Archops tier. Maybe a little bit better than Archops, but like probably like B minus tier, but on the like better than Archops. Audino is like bad but usable. It's like a Stallmon that runs Lucky Chance so it can't get crit, which is pretty cool. And it runs Baby Doll Eyes, which is a priority move that lowers the opponent's attack, which is interesting. We have Avalugg, so we got Logan making an appearance. Now this is like the pinnacle of a balls rank 1 mon. Like, um, actually, this one sucks, man. I'm putting this one on balls rank 2. This one's not useful. Azumarill is pretty good. It clicks funny Z moves, and it can also be stalled. Funny Z moves being like Elopan to use Fairy MZ, I run Normally MZ with like Giga Impact, and Belly Jump because Z Belly Jump like heals you and stuff. Yeah, I think Oz is a pretty interesting mon. Probably be my slime. It's not as good as Arachnid. Arachnid's my slime. Um, yeah. Blacephalon was one of the mons that I was talking about with the HPIs thing. I'm gonna put it in B rank. It's a fire type, so except it's a fire type that has a lot of asterisks to beating steel types because like Metagross can theoretically be Jolly Nature and just Earthquake you, and Mawile. I mean, you're favored versus Mawile if you're sub, but if you're not sub, you're getting sucker punched and you're gonna cry. Um, but like Specs is my preferred set though. Like Specs Mind Blown like explodes like every Pokemon that you might expect to like live it. But Ghost CMZ like beats like zero bulk Charizard, which like doesn't exist right now. I don't know, but like sub and CM are good moves to have though. Notable for beating Chansey, I guess. But so is I think Trick might lose to Chansey. Not important. Um, Blastoise. Am I really putting Arachnid above these guys? Zoomer and Blastoise? Probably. Yeah, I guess it's. I mean, VRs are subjective after all. But Blastoise is like a sturdy beater, so like you can fake out Ice Beam Dragonite. You can also run anti-Charizard sets. Actually, you don't need Ice Beam. You can just run like Dragon Pulse. I was thinking Ice Beam because like if you're, I think Dragon Pulse might just like lose to Zygarde, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not gonna calc it. Um, yeah, Blastoise is just like decent water type in the tier. Um, Probably has some things over to justify using it over Manaphy. Let's see, Blaziken. Blaziken's like a B rank mon, probably better than Bucephalon. Probably better than the Rakuten. Blaziken's like is like the funny man's fire type, but like, um, I think it's pretty overrated mon, or maybe not overrated. I don't know how people like actually rate it, but it's probably a little bit overused. It definitely does some good things, but like it's not like spectacular. Um, Blissey, it's a Balls Rank 1 mon. I was thinking about using Specs Blissey, because Specs Blissey with HPI speeds Zygarde, but that mon is really bad. That one beats like no, like Specs Blissey beats like no other Pokemon. It is funny though. Tapu Bulu, this mon is terrible. It's a Balls Rank 1 mon, I think. Yeah, maybe C rank. I mean, it beats High Card. Yeah, okay, it's better than okay. It's probably like up here. I think this mon is not good though. It's just not good. Like its typing is just not good. Um, you can run Scarf and do stuff. Yeah, this is not a very good Pokemon. Buzzwole, Buzzwole is probably better than Arcanine, but worse than these things. I made this made this Buzzwole set that's like Ground EMZ that beats Mawile and theoretically beats Zygarde unless you get Toxic. So it's kind of funny. Yeah, I think my experience with Buzzwole this tour was like I was trying to make it work as best as possible, and I felt that like it needed too many moves, too many Z moves, too many EVs for it to be as effective as you wanted to. Um, yeah, it's usable though. Camel's gonna also go in C, maybe C plus. Yeah, C. That one's not good. This is not our Logan Mon. I'm not gonna put in a Buzzwing too because this is like a pretty real Mon. Um, do I think it's a pretty real Mon? No, let's go on Buzzwing Mon with the other like bad megas. this Buzzwing one is just bad megas and Blissey right now. Jesus. Caracosta I'm gonna put in B. Caracosta somehow has good set diversity because like Z moves on it are really good. Like Z moves with boosting moves, in this case Self Smash, are really good in this tier. It's also really good with Sturdy. It's also notably an anti-sturdy because that's Aqua Jet. I don't know why that makes an anti-sturdy. I just felt like saying that. Yeah, this one's fun. Can run mixed, can run fully physical, can run special, so it's pretty good. See, Celesteela, really dislike this mon. Like really dislike it. That's probably just a B rank mon. This is not a mon that I prefer. I think I used it once. Okay, the set that I used was it can never see the light of day, but it has some good set diversity. That's all I'm gonna say. Do I want to move it higher because of that one set that I'm not revealing? It's an interesting question. Okay, let me see what I have it as. I have it in B plus. Okay, I'm gonna put it in B plus. I think that's really fun that I made with it. So I think I'm gonna put it here. But yeah, I can do a lot of things. I think it's reasonable. A champ that's a Balls Rank 2 mon is not unusable though. Not unusable, but like it's not good. It's really not good. That team is carried by having a Metagross and Mega on it, and then fighting the same team twice. Chansey, now this is a real mon. B plus Chansey? Yeah, probably B plus Chansey. Arguably A minus, but it's probably high up there in B plus. I wonder where it is right now. It's probably underrated right now. Where the fuck even is it? C-Rank Chansey? Oh hell no. I knew the VR was outdated, but not that much. Oh my god. I think it's probably B plus. Very useful in this tier. It hurts that there's a lot of like stall breaking mons like Nasty Plot, Porygon Z, Meloetta, Carnivore. Like all of these mons like hurt it, but use like Ooga Booga and if your opponent's not expecting it, it's just gonna 3-0 them a lot. Yeah. That's a bit of 4 move slot syndrome. because you want to run Growl, because Growl is really good at beating Dragonite, actually. But not having Toxic is like pretty bad a lot of the time. So Clefable is not a mon that okay, like when I think about Clefable, I'm like, why am I gonna use this over any other fairy type? I think it's a B rank, B plus probably. Like, why am I using this over another fairy type? I feel like Specs Clef might be the best way to use it. Like the Z Reflect set, okay, part of this might honestly be like, I don't know the matchups very well, but like the Psychium Z like Magical Reflect set, I don't know. I think it suffers from a lot of the same issues with Chansey, that the style breaking measures in the tier have just like advanced a lot. And I mean the other fairy types are just like better than it. Maybe if I knew more about the tier, I would be more enlightened as to why Clefable is a good Pokemon. I mean, still a B plus mon, but yeah. Cloyster is the Ballswing 2 mon, but like, it can do some funny things, so it's there. Crustle is gonna be like a B plus, maybe arguably A minus mon. Actually, no, it can't. Not in the current. Oops, that's not a Crustle. Not in the current climate, it's not A minus, but maybe in some universes it's A minus. I think Normalium Z Shell Smash is really good, but also Rockium Z Rock Wrecker is so strong. It's also Crustle's also a very bringable mon. Like, you can bring it, and it's like very rarely going to be useless on preview. Though it loses to both Zygarde and Mawile. So how good is it really? Then we have Diancie. Diancie's like a B rank mon. I mean, I'm a notorious Diancie hater, but there's some things that it does really well with like skill swap sets and stuff. But I think I just favor other mons over it, really. Could maybe argue for B plus. Because beating fire types is pretty good. Beating fire types in Gardevoir, pretty powerful. Those are pretty good qualities. Beating Zera if it's not banned. Like, Diancie is one of the reasons everyone banned Zera. Diancie is one of the best rock types as well, because Diamond Storm is 95% accurate, as opposed to like 80% accurate, as in Head Smash and Stone Edge, which is pretty notable. Not 100% accurate like Rocky and Z, but, you know, it's good. Wonder where I'm gonna rank Gigalith now that I'm thinking about that. I don't know. I think this is like a borderline mon. I'm gonna put it in B. Yeah, I think that's fair. Diggersby Dope. It's probably a B minus mon. Maybe B. You can win the choice sets, and choice band sets like Smoke, bulky teams. Scarf sets, good versus offense. So yeah, pretty reasonable mon. Definitely a B ranker. Donphan probably also a B ranker. Oh, Donphan's a mon that is like kind of invalidated by Metagross clicking Magnum Rise. I think Donphan has some interesting sets. Like, I ran a Poisonium Z set, which beats like Feeny, Gardevoir, Prim, Tapu Lele. It's pretty interesting. I think Band is like, Groundium Z is interesting. I don't know. It's like, Donphan's another example of a very bringable mon, but I think it has a big issue in that you would like it to be able to beat Zard, Dragonite, and Zygarde, but it does not beat any of them. So, it's pretty limited because of that. Just the B ranker, probably better than Diggersby, but like about the same. Moga is a Ballswing 2 mon, but like you can use it and it can do stuff. There's a replay of like a Landon beating Edgar's Latios with it. It ran like Z light screen or some shit like that. I don't know. You'd have to pull up that replay. I don't know if that replay exists anymore, but Amoga's a technically usable mon. And Poleon's like a C rank mon, I think. Yeah, it's probably the same strength as Arcanine. It runs like yawn shit. I mean, it can do some good things. Entei, I'm gonna put B minus. Entei is like part of the reason why I'm not ranking Arcanine as highly. But like Rockium Z and Firium Z can do some damage. It's a pretty good like pure fire type. A fire type's fire type. Sacred Fire Burning is not very relevant in this tier, notably. You can burn like Crustle, I guess. Yeah. Sacred Fire Burns are a thing that exists. Executor of Balls rank 1 Mon. It's kind of usable. I'm not putting this on today. But it's definitely usable with like Harvest stall shit. Ferrothorn's like C plus, I guess. It beats a lot of fairy types. Good versus steel types. Maybe it's actually I think it's B minus. There's no man. I'm putting Gulu in C plus. There's no way, dude. Get this mon out of my face. Yeah, Ferrothorn just like typing checks stuff. So it's pretty reasonable mon. A lot of teams are pretty weak versus it. Like, I wonder if it can beat Firefang Mobile. Seems impossible, actually. It's good versus the other steals. Unless you get Titanium Zed or like Specs HP Fire. I didn't mention Specs for Mag, but that's another stuff that's notable for it. Then we have Gallade. Gallade's solid. Probably B minus or maybe C plus. Gallade's a funny Zard answer, but it's not a particularly good Pokemon outside of that. I'm moving Buzzle. Okay, I'm gonna move Gallade up. This is where like the relative strange thing is like getting to me. Then we have Galvantula. Galvantula Balls Ring Corner. Blue should beat a Zygarde with it very suspiciously. But it's an interesting typing and has Swarm and Z moves, so it's pretty reasonable mon. Then we have Garchomp. Garchomp will not be putting an A minus, probably B plus mon. Its niche over Zygarde is questionable, but it is a very good Zard answer. And decent set diversity. Between Groundium and Band, they have slightly different matchups. But yeah, it's okay. Band Iron Tail could make an appearance in this tier as well. Notably bad for losing to Dragonium Zeraora. That's like one of the reasons why I don't like it. Yeah. Like that's probably the main reason I don't like it thinking about it. We have Genesect. Genesect is like, where's A minus? Genesect is the perennial A minus rank mon. Even in SM, I'm putting A minus. It's like an ORAS thing for it to be the perennial A minus mon. But I'm gonna put an A minus in SM2 to send a message. It's pretty good in this tier, honestly. Some people get randomly 3-0'd by it. Less so because like the Mawile fucker is running Firefang all the time. But having the upper hand on Zygarde, Metagross, and then other stuff depending on what item you are, you can run Z moves. You can run a choice set. You should probably run Speedy Vs and not slow Metal Sound. But yeah. Honestly, I don't know why I put Mega Gengar on this tier, but it's like technically usable with the Wisp set. Good versus the Steels. But I mean, I think Specs is pretty good though. It's probably like Blacephalon tier. Might be better. This is like better than Blacephalon, but it's like Blacephalon tier. Gengar's in the range of Pokemon where you run Modest Nature, and HPIs will kill Zygarde. And then you also have a good matchup versus some of the other fairies like Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini is another common mon to see with Zygarde. Yeah. That's like actually something I should mention about Venusaur. Venusaur is very weak to the move Substitute, which is getting more and more commonly ran on mons these days. So that does hurt the Sleep Powder sets. Gigalith, I think probably Crustle tier. Maybe I'm probably overrating it, but like I feel like it's as good as Crustle. That's like what I'm thinking right now. It's a very similar archetype of mon. Gigalith is one of the best Dragonite answers, notably. It's a pretty good stall beater, unless that stall runs Taunt or has Battle Armor. Do I have Slowbro on this tier list? Yes, I do. Okay, I was just like, wait a second. Golem's like Golem I didn't use, and I didn't really consider, so that's an indication to put it low rank. It's not as good as Donphan. I'd feel like putting it in C+. I think that's pretty reasonable. But it does have some things over Gigalith with its typing, and Sucker Punch is pretty big. Gigalith also notably does not run Sturdy, it runs Sandstream for the Spidef boost. So Sturdy can get some stuff. I don't know. Goobra is like a technically usable mon, but it's like pretty bad. how usable is it? Not very. I don't know. A Fly Name Z Gyarados. This is the regular Gyarados. So this Gyarados with Fly Z is like, I think has gotten worse and worse. Um, I'm just a hater. I feel like this is like a C, maybe up here. Like, I don't think it's a Buzzwole type of Bula tier, but it's not very good. Hariyama's a Buzzwing 2-mon. Another one of the shitter fighting types. Do I have Scrafty on this tier list? I do. Yeah, it's another one of the shitter fighting types, and not one of the very usable ones. It beats like 3 Pokemon in the tier. But 3 Pokemon is enough to be in Buzzwing 2. Haxorus, probably a B rank Mon, maybe B plus. I wonder where it is in this VR right now. The control of Haxorus. B minus, pretty reasonable. Golem's in B minus, what? Okay, whatever. I guess that's not far off where I put it. I feel like Haxorus is better. Actually, no, Haxorus is definitely B minus rank Mon this tier. It's pretty notable for beating like Dragonite with Mold Breaker, but eh. It also has to hit Iron Tail versus Gardevoir. It's just kind of eh. With the bulkier trending of Mons, I could see like some like Dragonium Z sets being good, but those sets are also cursed because those sets always carry counter and they get subbed on by Metagross Mega. So eh. Heatran's just good. It's an A minus rank Mon. Choice specs can be used if you're not going to face fast Zygarde, and then you have the upper hand versus Zygarde Maul teams. But like Fizdefirium, so like you live Metagross Earthquake is pretty good. Gratium's, you know, like probably like the most common set or some shit. Yeah, it's just a good Mon. It's a Heatran. I like never won with this tour, and I brought it a lot, but I never won with it. But I think it's a good Mon. Like it's Heatran. Rotom Heat is a fire type. Not as good as Entei. Yeah, this is probably a good ranking fire type. We have Blaziken, then Entei, then Rotom Heat, then Arcanine. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know, maybe Rotom Heat's like down here though. Rotom Heat's pretty fucking bad. Like, it's real bad. Yeah, actually, no, I believe in it more than Arcanine though. Heracross. Yeah, it's better than Buzzwole, so I guess I'm putting it B minus. I'm putting Buzzwole C. Fuck that shit. Heracross is not good. Yeah, it's just not good. Like it's like unbelievably outclassed. I'm not sure what niche it fills. Like what specific like matchup spread does it have over other like physically attacking like deep like physical bulky attackers. That's like the way to put it. I'm not sure what niche it holds. Good versus sturdies, I guess. I don't know. What niche does it even have over Buzzwole? It's an interesting question. I've held on his Buzzwing too, but I considered it a few times. It's obviously horrible. Like, I don't know why you would use it over like Donphan, for example. But I don't know. You could. Doesn't matters. But Umbon I'm probably putting in B. Mon that I quite liked. Specs, Ban, Darkinium Z mixed. Scarf. Yeah, I mean, Goop is a Mon that never really feels like awful. If you like bring it in good spots, it's gonna be a good Mon to fish with. Like what I was talking about earlier with VR philosophy is like coming true. Like these are all like pretty good fish Mons in the B rank, with the exception of Blaziken. Blaziken's more of like a weaker Mon, but these are all like pretty good fish Mons. Like these Mons can offer some matchup in the B rank. I guess like Blaziken and Donphan are the exceptions here so far. Hydreigon, I feel like Hydreigon's a C rank Mon. It's like more of an established Mon than the Boss rank 1 Mons. But you run like Scarf and stuff. And then you do stuff. You have a dark typing, which maybe can help, I don't know. Does some things. In my eyes, Balls rank 1 probably. Actually, I think it's a little better than Balls rank 1. I'm putting C rank. Mine's as good as Buzzwole and Arcanine? What? This is where like my logic starts to have holes in it for everyone that was like crying at me earlier internally. Incineroar. Probably maybe B plus for Incineroar. Incineroar's a mod that I don't like too much because I feel like Incineroar loses a lot of the matchups he wanted to win. But at the same time, Thinwar has some actual tech potential. Because with with different EVs, I was experimenting with Flame Charge Firium, and I was also experimenting with Assault Vest on Incineroar. I mean, I think it's a B plus rank one. I'm pretty happy with that ranking. Wonder where they had it in this. Yeah, B plus as well. That's reasonable. Infernape, probably another C rank mon. Infernape can run Z moves. And it's pretty damn good with Z moves. But what's the special attack stat? Should just search Infernape. 104. That's pretty fucking bad. That's not killing Zygarde. But yeah, I mean, click Z moves, so it's usable. I don't know what the fighting type. I guess fighting type is good versus the rock types. So beating steel and rock types as a fire type, kind of reasonable. Being a fighting type that beats steels is notable because two of the steels are fucking Metagross and Mawile, two Thanos mons. So yeah, I guess this Infernape can be C plus because of Z move factor. Better than Whirlwind. I don't think it's as good as Arcanine. Maybe it belongs in the same tier as, I mean, not Arcanine, Entei. Maybe it belongs in the same tier as Entei, I don't know. Kartana is a mon that I liked quite a bit. Maybe even A minus. I maybe liked it as much as A minus, honestly. Like, this is like what Ferrothorn Witches it was. Yeah, I think I like Kartana A minus. This one's pretty powerful. So like Band is good, Scarf is good. The Z move set with Iron Defense and SD is good. So it has like 3 sets that do things. And that's just like a point of Kartana as a whole. Like Kartana is the one that does things. Like basically always. Elo Bandit was running like a Spadef set that lived Zero, mixed Zero Charge, Electrium Z somehow. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, I value Kartana because it's Kartana because it's someone that does things, like basically always. Or because it's like scary. Whenever this here, it's probably like B rank mon here. Yeah. But yeah, I think this mon's good. Keldeo? I think Keldeo is probably the same as these water types. You run like Water MZ and like do stuff. You can also run specs on it because it's within the range of mons that kill Zygarde. But you can run sets that beat like Physical D-Knight and Charizard reasonably with it. Assuming the Dragonite doesn't just fly an EMZ your ass, obviously. But actually, maybe I don't think it's as good as these, honestly. Maybe it's just like... Maybe it's here. Maybe it's in C plus instead. I don't know, whatever. It's like not important. Como's probably another A minus rank mon. Famously, Jacob 3-0 like all of my teams with it. With like fast Comonium Z set. It's pretty smart, but Como's just an A minus rank mon. Between the fast set and the split up set, pretty solid. Not a mon that I favored. I think Como was one of the mons that I didn't use at all. But it's, it does stuff. See, I'm at 1 hour and 8 minutes, and we still have a lot of mons. Yeah, we can finish this before an hour and a half. It'll be fine. Crocodile is like C rank as fuck. That mon's not very good. Huron, probably a B minuser. It's probably about as good as Haxorus. Maybe a little better. Notably, doesn't have freeze dry, so it can't do any of like anti-fairy cheese shits. Stall sets are pretty not good. I was running like offensive bond. Maybe it's a little. I don't know. I don't think it's as good at fishing as these mons. Yeah, now we're starting to get into like relative fishing status. Like I don't think any of these mons like fish 3Ls except for maybe Archops and Ferrothorn. Those mons are also bad for like their respective reasons. Landorus Incarnate, which I put first somehow. That's a C rank fucker for sure. But it's usable. It does some things. I think this is a mon that you can run Specs HP Ice on and then beat Zygarde. But you probably get Draconium Seed and fucking owned. Notably, this mon doesn't kill anything with like Sludge Wave. Like all of the fairies just like live it. Landorus Therian. Landorus Therian I am like hater of in this tier. I'm not a fan of the Mon. So I'm gonna put it in B+. I kind of want to put Garchomp and Landorus in B, but I can't do it. At least Landorus beats Zero Aura. That's pretty good. But in terms of other matches, it's really just bleh. Bleh. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why I'd use it over Zygarde, really. I think there's very, very little justification to running it over Zygarde. I guess it's better at beating opposing Zygarde. So I guess that's pretty notable. Yeah, it's notable enough, I guess. The Landorus just gets Blast Burn unless you're running Scarf, and then Scarf is like not good. Scarf has some things that it does, but it's not good. I think this is Latios Mega. Latios Mega. This shit Heracross probably. It's not very good. It's Steel Fairy meta. Not very good. This is talking about expects Latios. Expects Latios can kick like HP Rocket, but like it's not a good one. Like I don't know. Like name one good matchup this year has gone ever. Dude, if Mega Latios was like an actual PZ answer, maybe it would be like pretty good, but it like isn't. I don't know. Lopunny, Ooga probably just B rank in this tier. I'm thinking about putting it B+. I think depending on the opponent, it could be B+. So I guess I'll put it B+, because if you bring Lopunny in a good spot, it's going to 3-0 your opponent. And Lopunny in general is just a mon that puts a lot of pressure on the opponent. So I guess it's pretty reasonable to put B+. Dude, this gen is literally just... Okay, this entire tier is mons that lose to Zygarde plus Clefable. That's pretty impressive. And Choice Band Garchomp, I guess. Magazone's an A- mon. Magazone's just really good. Not much to say about it, really. Electrium Z is good. Specs is good. It's good mon. Voltaria, another example of like just a good mon. I would go so far as to put it in an A- as well. No, I don't think I have much I want to say. Actually, I think I'll put it in B+. That's pretty notable for being a pretty good answer to Dragonite and Zygarde. Charizards as well. Although notably, like the Charizard Y matchup is not good for you. Also notably, it's a mon that gets gunk shotted by Greninja. Yeah, I think I like it in B+ more than I like it in A-. Mamoswine's like a Balls Rank 1 mon. It does stuff. Mandibuzz is Balls Rank 1 as well, I think. Yeah, I think Balls Rank 1's good for Mandibuzz. Electric Balls Rank 2, but you can technically use it. Medicham went Demon Time this tour as we discussed earlier, so I'm gonna put an A-. It's just really strong. Good versus the slower teams. You can run Bulky. You can run Bulky to be good versus Dragonite, and then just immediately lose to Charizard Y. Yeah, it's pretty reasonable. Milotic, this is a mon I thought about using a lot because of competitive. Competitive lets you beat Mawile plus Zygarde. So yeah, I was experimenting with this mon a lot. I think it's pretty good. I didn't end up using it, but I was very, very close to multiple times. I think what stopped me was just like, I was just looking at Charizard and Dragonite and being like, how can I make a coherent team with a water type that just like fucking loses to them? And it's also like pretty meh. And it's like doesn't win any of the mirror matches versus opposing water types and fairy types. Yeah, no. Miltank is probably a steering mon. It runs like stall sets and does stuff. Mismagius runs like Rocky and Z, and then beats like no other Pokemon, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's probably Balls Rank 2 because of that. Moltres, probably C-Rank mon. It's a fire type. Probably Arcanine tier. Yeah, it does some good things. I need more water. Muckalola is a reasonable Fishmon. Probably put a C+ or B- on the borderline here. Probably B-. That's pretty good usage. Masharn is like C rank. Masharn is notable because it has Forewarn, so you know like whether Dragonite wants to click Outrage or Draco Meteor. and then you can respond accordingly with your Stallmon. So that's cool. That's what warranted the C rank. And then we have Naganadel. Naganadel, a mon that I favored a lot this tour. I'm gonna put an A minus. The issue is like Draco Meteor and Fire Blast. They can miss rolls. But at the same time, Naga can also roll a lot of Pokemon. So I think it's reasonable for that matter, or for that reason. Yeah, I just like using it a lot. I like beating the fairies and then having favorable rolls versus steel types. And then pretty good matches versus Mega Charizard. You can also run HP Rock to beat the Quagsire fucker and Swampert, so that's notable. The Necrozma I think is like a B rank one as fuck, but it's B rank for the reason that like it relies way too heavily on set diversity, and then the upside isn't as high as you would want it to be. So just the B rank mon. Nidoqueen, like this is C rank mon, bleh. And Heligo, probably a B minus mon. Not a fan at all. Not a fan at all. Octillery is Balls Ring 2, but like you can use it. Porygon 2, B or B plus, probably B plus. Not a mon that I used. I think I also didn't use this mon, but it's really good versus some opponents, beating Zygarde, beating physical D-Knight Zardex, probably being special D-Knight as well, while losing to Ban D-Knight. That's what I would probably expect actually. But yeah, it's definitely like fits in with the other B plus rank mons. Put it next to Chansey. Pheromosa, probably a C pluser. But Pheromosa can fish teams that run like D-Knight, Zygarde, PZ that's not timid, I guess. Or Scar PZ that's not timid. I think it's pretty reasonable, but I think it struggles to do a lot in one set. Because like you kind of want to run a boosting item for attack and a boosting item for special attack. So that hurts it. But it's very usable, very reasonable mon. Philosophine's Balls rank 1. Next to, we have Father and Son going on here. Pinsir, I'm going to put in C+. Am I going to put in C+? No, this is a buzzable tier mon. Didn't just, like, why would I use it? I don't know. I didn't find good reasons to use it, really. If it was bulkier, maybe if I had just, like, invested all of the EVs into defensive stats, it would be better. I don't know. Pluff is like C+. I think Pluff is like an always C+ rank mon to me. It's just like a speed shot that does stuff. You got PQ, my goat. It's going in B rank. Pretty notable for being able to beat D-Knight, Charizard, Zygarde, Steel types besides Mawile Mega. Pretty good for doing that. Also like outstalling other Stallmons with Harden. Quagsire should probably also go next to it. Yeah, those mons should like be intertwined. Quagsire unfortunately gets Solar Beam by Charizard Y, but it does beat Mawile. Probably. And you should beat Mawile because like you can just wait to use your Normalium Z until you're low, and you can heal up. But yeah, so there's our dual stall type dual waters there. You have Raikou. Raikou's like C rank. I put Raikou on for fun. Like it doesn't really do anything this tier. Actually, wait, I'm fucking trolling. I was just like thinking about ORS, but then I realized in this tier it has the Z move. And Electrum Z is pretty reasonable. You can also run Magnet Rise, and do stuff with that. It's rewards Zero a lot of the time, but the mix set is pretty good. The mix set is sometimes better than Zero Aura. The Zero Aura mix set, so it's notable for that reason. Probably a B rank mon, B minus rank mon, put it next to Entei. Rampardos, Balls rank 1. It can do stuff though. But the thing is it needs to hit moves, so it's like, eh. Am I putting Registeel in A minus or B plus? Good question. Yeah, Registeel is pretty powerful. I'm gonna put it in A minus. Honestly, this mon could be A on a good day. On a yeah. I have one more mon that I'm gonna put in A, so I think I'm pretty happy with my top 4 ranks still. Rhyperior is like C+. Rhyperior does stuff, so it's good. But it's a rock type. Has some notable matchups over Golem. Same with over Donphan, but I think Donphan's just better mon in it. It's pretty limited in this tier. Rabombi is like a Balls Rank 1 Mon, but you can run the powder shit and then beat Charizard. Oh, this is a Balls Rank 2 Mon. This Mon is so niche. Um, Sableye Mega. Not a Mon that I like at all in this tier. People always swear to me that this Mon's good and gets good matchups, but I don't know. I think I'll put it in B. Seems like a Fishmon to me. It feels similar to a Raccoon to me, honestly, except Sableye beats Zero Aura with like Spit After Wisp shit. So I don't know. Sableye is reasonable, just not a Mon that I like. And just doesn't really fit in with my style of Sun Moon. It's good versus some people's style of Sun Moon though, so it's reasonable for that reason. Salamence is probably C+. Yeah, it's probably the same tier as the Lotties. The Razzle Dazzle is probably C+. Dazzle's notable for clicking Fake Out and then doing stuff after that. So, yeah, it's not bad for that reason. I think you probably want like Sub. You want like Fake Out, Sludge Wave for Overheat, Sub with Poisonium Z. Sub so you can click Sub turn 1 versus Protect Magnezone. Pretty notable. Sock is like pretty trash. This is a buzzable tier 1 for sure. You know, you'd like Sock to be good and do things, but it just like doesn't. Sceptile Mega I actually considered a lot. It's probably Tapu Bulu tier though. It's like it just like does things. Like the typings and speed are nice. Then you can it does things with like Sub and then like Rock Tomb Dragon Pulse Grass move. It does stuff. I don't know. I like ones that do stuff. Scizor is probably C in this tier. Yeah, maybe C plus. It's better than Pinsir. Yeah, it's probably Heracross tier in this gen. Which apparently is the same as my Lodic and Rotom Peak tier. Yeah, I'm dropping Rotom Peak. Get this shit out of here. That one's not good. Scrafty is probably C plus. Maybe not actually. Metagame's pretty unkind to Scrafty right now. But Scrafty can run Z moves and do stuff. Icebeam Z pretty notable for D-Knight. And Zygarde. Yeah, I convinced myself. It can be C+. Serperior is like had an insane win rate in this tier, so I'm gonna put Reggie and Serp next to each other. Serp just like Serp's another one that you bring and just does things. It's not the best mon on paper, is what I noticed. But like when you bring it, it's pretty good. Notably having pretty poor top tier matchups. But it's like matchup spread is very good with in conjunction with other Pokemon though. Sharpedo I considered using a lot. I'm gonna put it in C though, because I didn't actually bring it. But like Strong Jaw boosted Ice Fang is strong. Like Ice Fang Crunch, those are like pretty strong moves. Yeah, and then you have like Speed Boost Shenanigans. So like it's definitely a usable mon. Shaman, definitely usable with Z Celebrate stuff. It's probably Sceptile tier. Yeah, it's just like Sceptile Tapu Bulu tier, that's pretty reasonable. Would jump up next to them as well. Shedinja. Shedinja's just a C rank mon. Like, Shedinja's never gonna be above C rank, but Shedinja's pretty usable. Skarmory's probably a Balls rank 1 mon. But you can run like Rock Tomb, Flying EMZ, and then maybe you beat Charizard sometimes. I don't know. Slacking is like C+. Not a fan of this gen. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan. There's so much like anti-sturdy stuff going on. There's like so many sturdies and anti-sturdy stuff in this gen that like Slacking's pretty limited. But I mean sometimes it pitches matchups though, so maybe it's B minus for that reason. Curious. Yeah, I'll put it in B minus. Okay, realistically it's not that much worse than the Heligo, if it even is worse than the Heligo. And finally we get to our last A rank mon, Slowbro. Slowbro's an A rank mon because, again, going back to the VR philosophy, the peak of Slowbro is pretty damn high. If you're good at using Slowbro, like, Slowbro is as good as its user is at using it, which is very rare in 1v1. but like, knowing the right lines of play with Slowbro, being able to set guess what your opponent picked into Slowbro, and respond accordingly are like those are like pretty rare traits to have nowadays. There's not that many Slowbro users left, but it's a good Stalmon. Notable for not being able to get taunted or not being able to get crit, obviously, because it has Oblivious pre-mega and then Shell Armor post-mega. But yeah, that should finish out the A tiers. Smeargle's like C+. It's not very good in this gen. Steelix is a penis rank mega, but it's like pretty usable. Suicune I kind of want to put next to the other dogs. I'm just gonna put them next to each other. But Suicune's okay. I was running Z Rain Dance, which does some things. I don't know. It's like pretty usable. I feel like you can run like some stall sets on it, and it would be like demonic, but it would just be worse than Puku as well. So I don't know. Swampert, probably a B pluser. Yeah, it belongs next to these ground types probably. But I think it's better than the other models that it's with. Swampert does quite a bit of good things in this gen. You can also, I think Special Swampert is underrated, where you run like Earth Power, Ice Beam. That like guarantees KOs on some things with Ice Beam and Earth Power that you wouldn't get if you were running EQ Ice Beam. And with like an adamant, with like a minus special attack nature. Sylveon, pretty reasonable mon. Probably in here. You can run like Yon, then Z fake tiers, and then it does good things. But it falls into the usual like variance with Yon stuff. That kind of prevents me from putting it higher. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's like I'm just looking at Clefable now. Like, I think the mons are so similar that I'm like kind of questioning what's going on here. I feel like I should drop Clefable because it's just not a mon that I have a ton of experience with. So I'm gonna put it B instead. I think I'm more comfortable with this. Because like in my mind, this Clefable sets that I envision doing the most damage are like offensive sets. But maybe I should just like use Clefable a lot more in SM and then see what matchups it has, what matchups it can win. I don't know. Tingala, the Balls Rank 1 Mon, definitely does stuff. Tauros also Balls Rank 1 Mon. Really struggles to do a lot in one set, but Tauros can beat a lot of Mons if you really make it. Brachion, fucking C rank, maybe C, probably C plus. Yeah, it's probably the same as Golem and Hyperior. Then we got my boy Thundersterian. It's a B minus rank mon though. Scizor was Heracross rank, that's right. Yes, Thundurus is probably up here. It's not the best Fishmon. It's like, you beat Zygarde, but then, your Magic versus every Pokemon are pretty sus. But you can also just be Charge Electrion. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's B minus mon. I would probably say the same for regular Thundurus. By regular Thundurus, I mean Thundurus Incarnate, obviously. Then we have Togedemaru. Togedemaru is honestly like level 1. Why? The Togedemaru is kind of fun. We have Togekiss. Togekiss will not be joining the A ranks, but I think it's probably B plus. Do I think it's in the A ranks? Yeah, I don't think it's joining the A ranks. I think it's a B plus mon. Pretty limited by Charizard clicking Substitute. By its bad matchup versus Zygarde. Maybe you run offensive Togekiss and just beat Zygarde's ass with like Spec Dazzling Gleam. But I can see the case for it being A minus, but I will not be doing that today. Maybe I will. Actually, I will be doing it. Yeah, it's like a borderline between A minus B plus. That's what I'll put it at. No, we're at 1 hour 30. Okay, like if you're still watching, like I don't know why. Like we're talking about like the worst ones of all time. Magneton, I'm putting in C because it's so outclassed by Magnezone. Like the reason you run it is so you're faster than like EQ Gara, and that's like not a good justification in my eyes. Torterra, Balls rank 2, but you can use it. That's all I'm gonna say. If you try hard, you can use it. Because typing is pretty valuable. Hypnol. probably next to other stall fuckers. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. T-Tar. Not a T-Tar fan in this gen. I'll probably just throw it in B rank. But I don't think T-Tar is a rank below Aggron though. I also don't think Aggron's as good as Gigalith. So maybe I'm dropping. I don't want to drop Aggron though. I'm not a T-Tar fan, so I guess I'm gonna put it in B. T-Tar has a pretty weird matchup spread in this tier. I'm combining Megatar and Rakim Tar into one because I think they're pretty similar in terms of their relative power level. Yeah, T-Tar does some notable things over Gigalith. Gigalith does a lot of notable things over T-Tar. I don't know, I'll put them next to each other. They're very similar. Umbreon, this is like the Lost Heroes Stallmon. I don't think it's very good. Put it next to the other dark types that are in C rank. Ursaring, Yawn, Z Belly Drum, Big Impact. Kinda cool. Vaporeon. Beyond the meme, it's actually like pretty reasonable as a mon. Venomoth is like an ecstatic cold mon, but it does stuff with like Tinted Lens, Savage Spin Out. That makes it like reasonable to rank. Victory Bell is a Ballswing 2 mon, but like it does stuff sometimes. Because basically just because of its typing. That's what I'm saying with like when you look at like how this is honestly a relatively top heavy gen, so like okay, so A and above we have 6 plus 10 plus 2, so that's 18 mons. We have 18 mons above A, and I had 155 mons on a tier list. So I mean, if you beat the top 10% of mons, like 18 is about 10% of 155. If you can beat like multiple of the top 10% of mons, you're probably reasonable to use, and Victory Bell accomplishes that by beating, you know, Tapu Fini, Manaphy, you know. We have Vivillon. Realistically just next to Pluff. Yeah. I chose like Vivillon Arctic. Volcanion, pretty reasonable mon. I'll probably put it in B-. I think it needs more exploration in this tier. I think it can actually do very good things. Maybe I would just want to put it in B, even without the exploration though. Because I don't think it's substantially better or worse than Blaziken. Yeah, I think a mon that could use more usage in this gen. It has a bad rap from other two gens, like SS and ORAS, but this typing is pretty good. And it has Z moves in this gen, so we can do stuff with those as well. Volcarona, this is the last like really good mon, I guess. Probably B+. Volcarona, notably, this is one of the mons you can run Timid Nature Choice specs and both can beat Zygarde. So on the spec set, if you don't want to run HP like for Gera, you can run HP as for Zygarde. Volcarona could arguably be higher. But I don't like it very much. Where was it in this VR? Probably B+. Yeah, I think it's pretty reasonable B+ mon. It's probably about the same as Incineroar. They have similar matchups as well. Funny how that works. Oh, Rotom Wash is better than Rotom Heat. I'm gonna put it in C+ for that reason. Weavile is my slime. I'm gonna put it in fucking B because I'm like unhinged. Z Foul Play is like really addicting to use. It does so much damage. It's so fun. And that's why I'm gonna put Weavile in B. Also, I used it quite a bit, and like I think your personal VR should probably reflect your usage quite a bit. And I use Weavile as much as I would use as a beer rank mon should be used. Whimsicott, reasonable, but I mean it's fucking Whimsicott. I'm gonna put it next to Jumpluff. Alakazam, probably C+. Like Alakazam, I brought Alakazam to like beat Sturdies and Zeraora, with Trace stuff. You can run Encore Disable is not good. I think Counter as a lure set is not bad. But I think it's most effective as like a niche Sturdy beater that also beats Zera. Sturdy also includes Dragonite because of multi-scale, which is probably its most notable matchup. And then last, but somehow not least, we have Zapdos, who I probably put Raikou Thunder Starion tier. Yeah, because you can run HP Ice and beats Specs HP Ice, excuse me, and then beat Zygarde. Zapdos could arguably be higher because it has other sets like Reflect, with Split and Electrium. So, you know, that's reasonable as well. Maybe I put it above them. Yeah, but I think maybe Zapdos B is okay. But it doesn't get used as much as a B rank Mom, like Shit and Tail. Maybe that means it should be used more. Maybe it means it just loses to Charizard, Dragonite, and a lot of other mons, so it's not good. Um, whatever the case, that's where I'm going to put it. I think that's pretty reasonable. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Play Sunmoon 1v1, play other gens of 1v1. And yeah, I hope you found this video entertaining or helpful, or if it was otherwise good background music while you were doing something else. Yeah, peace.